Last episode, it was heartbreaking the Carabao Cup, but a young wonder kid in Jacob Ramsey started to make the step up, and perfect timing because with the transfer window open and just £22 million to spend, we're going to have to be creative if we want to improve this squad. But as ever, if you're enjoying the series so far, please feel free to like and subscribe, and let's get into today's episode. Now, I mentioned youngster Jacob Ramsey and some of the incredible performances this man has started to put in the last couple of months. 6 goals and 4 assists in 13 appearances, with 3 of those goals coming in just 5 appearances in the Premier League. This young man is really starting to make a name for himself this season in an Aston Villa shirt. Now, as you can see, his stats are on the rise, and he does offer us a great amount of versatility playing across the left, centre and right midfield. And as you can also see from his development plan, I did originally decide to play him out wide on the left-hand side and try and focus him on being a wide playmaker. But with the amount of games in all the cup competitions that I've had to play, I've had to regularly rotate these 3 in the centre of the park. And with defensive midfielder Douglas Luiz being the only other recognised central midfielder that I've got on the substitutes bench, I've had to turn to the likes of winger Buendia and of course Jacob Ramsey to try and fill the void in the centre of the park. Now, despite his favoured position now being on the left hand side of midfield, I actually feel like his best performances so far this season have come when he's played in the centre. And so with that in mind, and with the likes of Buendia, Leon Bailey and also Nicolo Zaniolo all being more right-sided players, whilst that man Zaniolo is doing a job for me on the left hand side of midfield, I think I need to bring one more player in this window to try and compete for him for the rest of the season. Now, as I mentioned before, the January transfer window is well and truly open, but with only £22 million to spend left in the budget, I am certainly going to have to be creative if I want to try and bring in someone who can genuinely improve this squad. So as you can see, I've taken the time to try and shortlist some of the best young talent across European football, all of whom can play on the left hand side of midfield or on the left of a front 3. However, as you can also see, judging by the numerous amounts of question marks all on their overall rating, I haven't been able to fully scout all of these players just yet. Now, bearing in mind it is the 1st of January, that does leave me with enough time throughout January to make sure that I can get all those scout reports in before the transfer window slams shut. But as you can see, it will not be until the back end of the month that I'm going to be able to potentially bring one of those players in. So I'm going to have to do without them, at least for the opening 2 games of this month. For now though, having been knocked out of one cup competition, it is time for us to start our journey in another as we welcome Fulham to Villa Park for what is going to be a mammoth clash in the FA Cup 3rd round in a competition that we truly believe we can go the distance in and hopefully claim our first piece of silverware in this Aston Villa career mode. An important game means an important starting 11 will be taking their place on the pitch. Martinez starts in goal, Sacha Boey, Konza, Torres and Estupiñán play at the back. Kamara, Tielemans and Ramsey start in the centre of the park, Zaniolo on the left, Moussa Diaby on the right and Ollie Watkins starts up front. Kamara plays it short into the man of the moment, Jacob Ramsey, who brings the ball out of midfield beautifully and plays a wonderful pass out wide to the left-hand side to Estupiñán. Estupiñán has space to drive into, instead cuts it back to Zaniolo. Tried to shift it onto his right, was too slow, and Fulham get the ball clear. Luca Netz down the left-hand side for Fulham. Moussa Diaby tried to come across to challenge, wasn't good enough, but Sacha Boey was good enough, and now he can release the Frenchman, who can drive down this right-hand side. He's got the pace instead to cut back inside, and he's going to look for the run of Yuri Tielemans. Tielemans tries to play a ball forward, it's really poor, and that has pretty much been the statement of the opening 15 minutes for Aston Villa here. We just haven't managed to find the final ball, and it's now Willian though who can pick the ball up, and instead Sacha Boey challenges. Fulham have a throw. Lukic, lovely run, bursting down the left hand side, plays a wonderful ball in. Andreas Pereira nods it wide down the line into that man Zaniolo, and he finds Jacob Ramsey. Lovely stuff, and the Englishman can now burst past 2 Fulham players. This is brilliant play, and he continues his run. What a run from the young Englishman, plays it into Ollie Watkins with the head, and the goalkeeper Leno just about manages to get a hand on it, but my word, that would have been a fabulous assist from Jacob Ramsey if Ollie Watkins had managed to put it away. Fires a ball out wide to the right hand side. Yuri Tielemans is the man to pick it up though, and he plays it into Ollie Watkins, who's come deep down to Sacha Boey on the right hand side. Finds Moussa Diaby, who strikes with his left straight at the goalkeeper. Torres, lovely pass down the left hand side, finds Estupiñán in all sorts of space, and he plays a ball across, and in the end it's a really poor one. Raul Jimenez does well to get away from the challenge of Pau Torres, and he's done even better to get away from the challenge of Estupiñán on the left-hand side of defence, but Estupiñán comes back across. That man has been absolutely brilliant on the left-hand side of my defence all season. Raul Jimenez blocked off by Konza. Konza, though, goes and gives the ball away to João Paulinho. Strikes deflected, Fulham corner. And it's going to be one that man Pereira is going to take, and it looks like he's going to float it right the way in. He does. It's headed away, though, by the striker, Ollie Watkins. Only out as far as Diop. Andreas Pereira will get another chance to throw it back in, and that's exactly exactly what he does, and this time it's João Palhinha who is inside the penalty area unmarked, and he just nods it into an empty net. Martinez could do nothing about it. Brilliant play from Fulham, lovely ball across, and he just got away from Sacha Boey at the back post. Really nicely done, and it's a really good goal to give Fulham the opener here at Villa Park. It's 1-0. Palhinha for Fulham. Lovely little play to get away from the challenge of Kamara. Releases Lukic, and Lukic does a really good job of getting away from Tielemans. Fulham playing some really nice stuff here at the start of the second half. Iwobi into Adama Traore. He hasn't really got the technical ability, though, to go past Konza. And instead now Moussa Diaby is released, and he can now play a pass into Ollie Watkins. And he's got acres of space here as the Englishman drives into the box, surely to score. He does score. Lovely finish. And we are right back in the game. Ollie Watkins in the 57th minute levels it up here at Villa Park. It's 1-1. Palhinha now has it for Fulham. They're going to look to try and strike back immediately, but it's a good challenge. But Palhinha bricks it up once again. He's got it on the edge of the box, finds Lukic into Iwobi, and it's Raul Jimenez. Just like that, Fulham back on top. Nice ball into Stupinian. Into Jacob Ramsey. He has been my most threatening player so far in this game, but he's been fairly quiet in the second half. He's going to try and look for a ball all the way out wide to Sacha Boey. Really nicely done. Sacha Boey drives into the box, looks for the cut back into Tielemans. Good save from Leno. Going to be John McGinn, the captain, on as a substitute to take the resulting corner. He's going to fire it in, looking for the head of Ollie Watkins, looking for his second, and our second couldn't quite find it. But in the end, Leon Bailey, another substitute, will come on as well, and will pick the ball up and tries to drive onto his left foot. In the end, it's a good challenge from Lukic, and Fulham can now break into Andreas Pereira. They got 4-on-3 here. Can they try and find the goal to give them a 2-goal cushion here? Castagna down the left-hand side, into Iwobi, into Andreas Pereira. He looks to switch it onto his left and place it over the bar. Well, we've got just under 10 minutes remaining here to try and see if we can find an equaliser. The board are expecting us to win this cup competition, and at the moment it looks like we are about to go out in the third round, and we give the ball away again. We just can't seem to find our mojo today, and you do not want to give that man Adama Traore that much time and space. Into the box goes another Traore, and he makes no mistake, and he gives Fulham a 3-1 lead here at Villa Park. Well, it was sloppy play down one end, and Fulham hit us on the counter-attack at breakneck speed. Adama Traore burst down the right-hand side, a beautiful ball in, but the other Traore did the hard work, took it on his chest, smashed a volley past Martinez, and Fulham surely now have sealed their path into the next round. Leon Bailey to pick it up and try and see if he can drive past a couple of Fulham defenders, and he's done one brilliantly. Can he play it into Ollie Watkins? He can. Ollie Watkins with a big save. Leno and Diaby in the end gets in the way, and Fulham get away with one. Well, it's booted clear by the goalkeeper. The referee looks at his clock, and the referee does in fact decide to blow the whistle for full time. Well, the Aston Villa players shake their head. They walk off the pitch in disbelief. It's been a shocking performance, but it's that man's goal that puts the game to bed in the end. Full time here at Villa Park, it finishes Aston Villa 1, Fulham 3. Well, for a season that seemed to have so much promise, is it starting to unravel before our very eyes? Knocked out of the quarter-finals of the Carabao Cup by Newcastle, and now knocked out of the third round of the FA Cup by Fulham at home. The board had their eyes firmly set on domestic success this season, expecting me to win the entire competition. But with us now out of both the League Cup and the FA Cup, it puts even more pressure on us to secure Champions League football through the Premier League and to try and achieve European glory in the Europa Conference League. And if we don't do either of those two things, who knows what's going to happen to my job come the end of the season. And we don't exactly fight back with the vigour that I was hoping for. It was a 2-2 draw, a hard-fought draw at Everton, and it means that we drop another 2 points in the Premier League. Fortunately enough for me though, as you can see, the scout reports of all of those players on my shortlist have finally come in. But as you can see, the players who seem to have the higher overall rating are the ones that happen to have a transfer value that are far beyond what I can afford thanks to my transfer budget. So it likely means that I'm going to have to potentially look at players who have more of a potential rather than immediate impact that I was hoping for. But with that in mind, I have decided to make my choice as to who I want to be the next player to ply their trade in an Aston Villa shirt. He's a man who at just 20 years of age most definitely has his best years ahead of him, and he's someone who had Premier League experience last season with Leeds United and in patches showed that he has the potential to be a real wonderkid in English football. But with Leeds unfortunately dropping down to the Championship and this man wanting to climb his way back up to the Premier League, it is us that are finally willing to give him that opportunity as Wilfred Gnonto joins Aston Villa Football Club for £11.5 million. As I said, with him only being 75 rated, he isn't going to be an immediate starter for us, but he is showing great potential. Added to the fact that he has high attacking work rate rate and he has absolutely electric speed. I think he is someone who can add a totally different dimension to the left-hand side of our attack. And he is going to get the opportunity to impress immediately as we look to face off against a team at Villa Park whom we will be desperate to get revenge against. It is Newcastle United in the Premier League against Aston Villa, and we will be hoping to collect 3 points today. And Wilfred Gnonto coming into the starting 11 is not going to be the only change here today, as I have had to make some very enforced changes due to a bit of fatigue in the camp. Martinez does keep his place in goal, but Matty Cash starts in the right-hand side of defence. Tyrone Mings partners Pau Torres with a Stupinian on the left. Douglas Luiz comes in central midfield with Yuri Tielemans, Jacob Ramsey, of course Gnonto on the left, Moussa Diaby on the right, and Ollie Watkins starts up front. Sven Botman for Newcastle. He was looking for the ball down the right-hand side, but it was well blocked off. But Newcastle managed to wriggle away, and they've done a really good job of beating the Aston Villa press. And Harvey Barnes now tries to come across, but it's Tyrone Mings instead who does. And in the end, though, it falls kindly for Almiron. The keeper comes out. What on earth is going on? And a Stupinian hacks it clear. My word, it was almost a calamity at the back for Aston Villa. Well, what a start that would have been. Oh, my word, all over the place at the moment. But Alexander Isak nods it down for Harvey Barnes in the left-hand side of my box. Longstaff feeds it to Bruno Guimaraes. Well blocked, though, by by Douglas Luiz, and now Jacob Ramsey can release Wilfred Gnonto, and this is the chance for the former Leeds man. He drives into the Newcastle box. Can he pick his spot? He does. No, he doesn't. Brilliant save from Nick Pope. That was a big opportunity for the young man, and one that he did not take. He will be absolutely devastated. Perhaps he will not get a better opportunity all game, and perhaps that is one that he will live to regret come the end of the 90 minutes. Tielemans throws it back in, though. Newcastle, though, will get it clear fairly easily. Trippier with the throw into Lamar. Trippier gets it back. Lovely pass into the path of Almiron, and he drives down this right-hand side, goes past Pau Torres, dinks it back into the box. Harvey Barnes with a bicycle kick over the bar. He cannot believe it. Matty Cash under a bit of pressure here from that man Harvey Barnes, but he does manage to wriggle away really nicely. He feeds a nice little pass into Douglas Luiz. He, though, ends up giving it away to Longstaff, and Newcastle win it back with the high press. Bruno Guimaraes now trying to wriggle away. He does wriggle away from 2 challenges into the danger man. Alexander Isak into the box. Lamar strikes. Well blocked off, though. Douglas Luiz into Yuri Tielemans. Can he try and release Moussa Diaby down the right-hand side? He does, and the Frenchman has acres of space to run into here. Can he try and drive into the box? Yes, he can. I was going to look for the cutback. Instead, he will go himself, and Nick Pope with another big save. And it will be that man to take the corner, and he's going to throw this one into the penalty spot as Stupinian tried to get across, but it was Alexander Isak, the tall Swede, who got there ahead of him. Pau Torres now to shift it onto his right. Is the centre-back going to strike? He is, you know. And it was blocked by Dan Burn, and it will be another Aston Villa corner. But it's been end-to-end stuff here at Villa Park in the opening 40 minutes. Neither team able to break the deadlock, though. Can we make a change to that, though? It falls to Douglas Luiz, who heads it back down to Yuri Tielemans. He's going to get another throw into the box. He does throw it in. This time it's headed away by Bruno Guimaraes. Douglas Luiz tried to get there. He doesn't manage to. Wilfred Gnonto to line up a strike. What a save again from Nick Pope. Well, the Newcastle goalkeeper has been on absolute fire so far in this game. Somehow he's managed to keep us all at bay. It's thrown back in for a Stupinian, who knotted over the bar, though. Lamar for Newcastle dancing around my midfield, and he's done a really good job of playing it out wide to Almiron. Kieran Trippier on the overlap, though, will drive down the right-hand side. Lovely ball in, feeds it into Harvey Barnes. What a huge save there from Emi Martinez. Longstaff keeps the ball alive for Newcastle, though. It's Ranildo to throw it back in, looking for Alexander Isak, who took it really nicely on the volley. It falls again back down to Ranillo, and this time again it's Martinez with a big save right on the stroke of half-time. We are well over stoppage time here, but Newcastle have a corner. Both teams looking threatening. We've got to make sure that we keep it at 0-0 heading into the end of the half. It's headed clear, and the referee does in fact blow the whistle finally. Matty Cash with the throw at the start of the second half. It was a breathless first half. Neither team, though, able to get on the score sheet, and we've got to hope that we can do a better job of trying to find the back of the net in this half. Jacob Ramsey, though, picks it up, plays a wonderful ball into that man, Wilfred Gnonto. He drives into the box. Can he get away from the defender? No, he can't. Surely that will be an Aston Villa corner. Matty Cash being pressed again by Harvey Barnes. It's been a real ding-dong battle between the two of them down that right-hand side all game, but Yuri Tielemans is the man who wins the ball back in the Newcastle half. Flings a ball into the box. It's headed away by Sven Botman. Only out as far as Alexander Isak. We do manage to pick up the loose ball, though. A Stupinian to drive into the centre. Is he going to try and find a ball out wide to Jacob Ramsey? He cuts it back in. I was looking for Ollie Watkins. It's blocked. Another Aston Villa corner. Moussa Diaby, the Frenchman, will take right on the stroke of the hour mark here. Throws it into the box. Looks for Yuri Tielemans. Knotted across. No one could get on the end of it. Tyrone Mings will pick it up though. He will try and play a short ball into Douglas Luiz. He will line up a strike with his right. What a strike from the central defensive midfielder to give us a 1-0 lead here at Villa Park. My word, he slides on his knees in place of Kamara in that central defensive midfield spot. And my word, he has made his position count. Well, it was lovely play in the end from Douglas Luiz, but he had to have the composure to pick his spot. He was being pressed by about 5 different Newcastle players, but he got his head up and he drilled a low strike past Nick Pope to finally beat him and finally give us a 1-0 lead. Newcastle have a corner here. They're going to look to strike back with immediate effect, and it's a corner they're going to go short with. Anthony Gordon throws it across. Martinez makes a real meal of that. He really could have collected it, and in the end, that was almost his second gaff of the game. Fortunately enough, though, we get away with it once again. Down the line into Jacob Ramsey, and Jacob Ramsey gets there ahead of the Newcastle defenders, and now he can drive down this left-hand side, cut it back into Ollie Watkins. It's Moussa Diaby who picks it up. What a save again. It's going to be a corner that the goal scorer, Douglas Luiz, is going to take. He's going to throw it into the box, looking for the head of the substitute, Leon Bailey. Doesn't manage to find him, though. It will come back out to him. This time it's Wilfred Gnonto to line up a strike again, and Nick Pope again is in the way. Douglas Luiz, I'm losing count of the amount of corners we've had so far today, but so far we've only been able to put 1 goal away, but make that 2, because the substitute Leon Bailey has come on and he has just looped a fabulous header right over Nick Pope to give us a 2-goal cushion here at Villa Park. Well, again, Douglas Luiz was involved. This time he gets on the assist sheet, a beautiful cross and an even better head. Nick Pope had no chance. He's been an absolute wall at the back for Newcastle today, but he could do nothing about that one. A brilliant header from the substitute and a brilliant way to give us a 2-goal lead. Nice pass into Almiron. He's gone past Alex Moreno, and now he drives down the right-hand side of the pitch here for Newcastle. Checks back in, looks for Lamar again. Lamar tried to shift it onto his left, instead struck with his right. Good save from Martinez. Newcastle have a corner here, less than 10 minutes remaining plus stoppage time on the clock for them to try and find a way back into this game. It's headed away by the striker Ollie Watkins, only out as far as Bruno Guimaraes will throw it back in. Tyrone Mings with a big header away, and this time it was a fabulous piece of defending, and now Wilfred Gnonto can try and drive away. Took too heavy a touch, and in the end the ball ran loose from him. Ben Botman, lovely challenge from Jacob Ramsey. That man has been box to box. There's been no doubt he has been fantastic all game, and he's continuing his run into the box. Wilfred Gnonto to strike, and he just gets the strike all wrong, and it just has not been that man's day in front of goal. It doesn't matter though, because the referee decides to blow for full time, and it means that we get our revenge against Newcastle here at Villa Park. As at full time it finishes Aston Villa 2, Newcastle 0. Well, there can be no doubt that he was heavily involved across the entire game. He was a constant threat darting down that left-hand side, but he did have one huge opportunity in the first half that he will be absolutely devastated he could not take. He did actually have a few decent opportunities, to be fair, to get in front of goal, but he just couldn't find his shooting boots. I think the young man has got some work to do to try and improve his calmness and composure in front of goal for the remainder of the season. He is a bit of a raw talent, but there is absolutely no doubt that he certainly is showing great potential. But not only does that win keep Manchester United at arm's length for us in 4th place, it also means that we have not only closed the gap to Spurs in 3rd and Manchester City in 2nd, but we've closed it to Liverpool on top, and we are now only 3 points away from top spot. Could we do the unthinkable and mount a Premier League title challenge this season? A draw against Sheffield United in our very next game, though, brings us crashing back down to earth, and again it's another huge 3 points dropped, and it means with Manchester United continuing to breathe down our neck in the Premier League, it means our very next game against them is going to be absolutely huge. Yes, that's right, it's another game at Villa Park, and it's another game where we welcome our Champions League rivals Manchester United in what is going to be an absolutely huge clash that we will be absolutely desperate to get 3 points from. It is a return to my strongest starting 11, and that means Martinez in goal, Sacha Boey on the right, Diego Carlos, Torres and Estupinian at the back, Kamara starts in midfield with Tielemans and Jacob Ramsey, Zaniolo on the left, Moussa Diaby on the right, and Ollie Watkins up front. Shatire for United, out to Marcus Rashford on the left-hand side, and he just darts past Sacha Boey like he's not even there. Kamara comes across, and Kamara does a brilliant job of just shielding the ball for him, and now Sacha Boey can try and go down this right-hand side, but Luke Shaw with the high press. Shatire now for Manchester United. They are all over us in the opening 10 minutes here, trying to see if they can get an early lead. Shatire now on the edge of the box, tries to go past Diego Carlos. Rashford picks it up, he plays it back in. Lovely stuff from the Manchester United players. It's off the bar after Martinez managed to get a touch to it, My word, it's been an electric start here at Villa Park. Manchester United have a corner. It looks like they are going to go short with the corner. They do. It's Correa who picks it up. Correa darts past one of my defenders. Martinez has it now. Shatiri again, the danger man. Diego Carlos goes out for another Manchester United corner. And it is another one that they're going to go short for. It looked like they were going to go short. Instead, Eriksson threw it in. Headed away by Sacha Boey. Only out as far as Correa. Mason Mount into Varane. Shatiri strikes again. That man has been all over us so far. It's blocked off. My word. We are just doing anything we can to try and see if we can get rid of the ball here. And now Moussa Diaby can try and stretch his legs down the right-hand side. He's got the pace to get away from Luke Shaw. Going to try and feed a ball into Ollie Watkins. It's absolutely wonderful. Ollie Watkins across the box into Zaniolo. And just like that, we take the lead inside the opening 15 minutes. Oh my word, it's been an absolutely electric end-to-end start here at Villa Park. Well, my word, what an incisive counter-attack. Ollie Watkins unselfish. He could have tried to strike, but he saw the on-rushing run of the Italian Zaniolo across the box, and he had the simple task of just tapping it into an empty net, and he did his job correctly. Erik ten Hag is furious, but we take the lead here at Villa Park. It's 1-0 Aston Villa. United have a free kick in a dangerous area. It's Marcus Rashford to try and dink it in. He does, right into the penalty spot. It's headed clear though by the defenders, and now Yuri Tielemans gets it away into Estupinian, into Ollie Watkins, who tries to lift it over into the path of Jacob Ramsey. He's fighting with Varane. In the end, United get it back. Correa tried to be blocked off. Shatiri now has it. Big save from Martinez. United with the follow-up with Dalot. It's in off the post, but has he been flagged offside? Yes, he has, much to my delight and fortune. My word, let's see how much was in that. Oh, it was just a little bit. He was inches off, and we get away with one there. Estupinian, he's got an option of Zaniolo down the left-hand side, and he finds Zaniolo, and he has got the strength and pace to try and drive down this left-hand side. Instead, he cuts inside, looking for another opportunity. Oh my word, it was off the bar. What a goal that would have been. Sacha Boey with the throw. Yuri Tielemans picks it up, gives it back to the Frenchman, and instead Luke Shaw, though, manages to come across and put a challenge in. Shatiri, who has been the most creative player so far for Manchester United, releases Marcus Rashford, but Diego Carlos with a fabulous challenge. Zaniolo being pressured on this left-hand side, manages to wriggle away from it, though, and fires a wicked ball out to Moussa Diaby on the right. He tries to play it down the line, blocked by Luke Shaw twice. In the end, though, he still manages to win it, and now Sacha Boey can try and release that man, Moussa Diaby, down the left-hand side. He's got the beating of pace for the defenders. He plays it into Jacob Ramsey, and look at that for a fine finish. The Englishman continues his fine form from last episode to smash us into a 2-goal lead. Well, it was brilliant play by Moussa Diaby. He just did not give up, and in the end, he had the pace to drive away from the defenders. And look at that from a finish from Jacob Ramsey. He just cut it back to him, and he absolutely smashed it into the top left-hand corner. Onana just couldn't get across quick enough. It was a brilliant finish and a brilliant way to give us a 2-goal lead. Diego Carlos, under a bit of pressure here, manages to wriggle away from it and plays a wicked ball down the left-hand side into Estupinian, who now can burst down into space. Instead, though, goes and gives the ball away. And now we are open at the back here. It's Amad Diallo down the right-hand side. Estupinian has come back across, though. He cuts it back inside for Shatiri. Well challenged, though, by Diego Carlos. That man has been a rock at the back for us so far in this game. Into Kamara. He shifts away from a challenge and then goes and gives the ball away to Correa. And Correa manages to get there ahead of the substitute. Alex Moreno fires it into the box. Diego Carlos is there yet again. What a defensive performance from that young man today. And now, on as a substitute, Wilfred Gnonto has the pace to drive down this left-hand side. Can he try and pick out a pass into the centre? He's looking for Ollie Watkins. He does eventually manage to find him. Ollie Watkins shifts it into the box and strikes straight at Onana. That is a huge let-off for Manchester United. Leon Bailey to pick the ball up, and Leon Bailey to fire in a wicked ball to Ollie Watkins. Can he make up for his earlier miss? No, he can't. It's another big save for Onana. And I thought almighty there, United were about to just pass the ball into the back of their own net and give away an own goal, but they just about managed to get it clear. Yuri Tielemans will pick up the loose ball. They're going to try and look for the overlapping run of Sacha Boey. I do manage to find him, cut it back in for Ollie Watkins, shifts it onto his left. Third time's a charm. No, it isn't. Another big save from Onana. Leon Bailey finds Diego Carlos. Diego Carlos being the only man who's back, but he does a good enough job of getting the ball away. And Wilfred Gnonto is taken out from behind, and somehow the referee waves play on. What on earth is going on? El Nesri now to bring it away from Manchester United. Can they try and hit us on the counter-attack? We've done enough to try and slow up that counter, but somehow they have managed to find some space down this left-hand side. Rashford throws it in, looking for Fabio Silva. What a save! My goodness, this is breathless here. Just a couple of minutes remaining, and Onana is up for the corner here. United throwing the kitchen sink at it here to try and see if they can get a goal. But it's Alex Moreno to bring the ball forward now. Can we try and hit United on the counter-attack? They've got no one in goal. Moreno to try and shoot from distance. He gets his shot all wrong. And eventually Manchester United again get away with one. Luke Shaw clears away. The referee, though, blows for full time. On the United players, they shake their head. It's been a really disappointing performance from them today, but I do not care one bit. That man, Jacob Ramsey, steps up in the heart of my midfield yet again. His goal was the difference here today. As at full time, it finishes Aston Villa 2, Manchester United 0. It's another clean sheet and it's another 3 points. Emi Martinez is continuing to have a fantastic season despite a couple of wobbles in that game, it must be said. 7 clean sheets in 24 games, and it appears like he is the clean sheet leader in the Premier League this season. One man, though, whose performances certainly have not gone unnoticed is that of Jacob Ramsey. Another brilliant performance in the heart of my midfield, and he is well and truly emerging as a real leader for this team. That win, though, does give us some breathing space to Manchester United in 5th place and does start to build out a gap as we try and see if we can cement our place in the Champions League this season. And with just 14 games remaining, plus the knockout rounds in the Europa Conference League yet to begin, I am still very confident we can do something special this season. But that is it for the end of today's episode. Thank you everyone for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.